Well, it's a freezing cold but absolutely beautiful night here beside the sea. There's a fantastic starry night above us, but the resolution of this proxy camera won't pick it up. So we're restricted to the little buoy indicating where the wind farm is out there for something to look at. And hopefully the sounds of the sea gently lapping at the rocky shoreline. I just very quickly wanted to, as I kind of did with the Clouds Across the Moon video, just kind of look back at an older video and just, in this case, the one about to value anything. And sometimes I look at those videos again and listen to what I said and see if any of it stands up or if it's crap or badly articulated. And it's not massively well articulated, but I was trying to think specifically about that, what some of the objections to what I was saying in that video might be, that I was perhaps taking a ridiculously pedantic interpretation of what materialistic determinism actually means, particularly regards to human brain function. Perhaps someone disagreeing with what I said there would say, don't take such a ridiculously prescriptive view of human consciousness. It's far too layered, far too complex, and far too mercurial for you to simply say that a set of biomechanical switches were put in place from birth, and all the potential neurons, every bit of it, all deterministically, set in motion from basically conception through growth. Well, there might be some truth in that. Let's just say that perhaps your brain development could be adversely affected while you're, for example, either a tiny infant or in utero. Functionally, though, it's part of your formation that you have no agency to control. And once your agency has developed, I still would argue that the same deterministic fall of the dominoes is set there in a purely material deterministic worldview. It couldn't be any other way beyond that point. And so I suppose you'd have to just start arguing more along the lines of, well, is that any reason not to try and help people anyway? I suppose it isn't. I suppose again, the point of the previous video was to talk about why we value, why we would consider something tragic or upsetting, or even how the person experiencing the despair, what might they muster to try and keep themselves going. And it's when everything is completely internal, and even though that's so incredibly important to have a rich interior life, to help yourself, to bolster yourself, it's how you nurture that interior life and what you can draw on is so incredibly important, or the ability to see beyond yourself, which isn't completely relying on everything to be generated within yourself. So that's the core of what I was saying. But again, I'm trying to take the counter view. So yeah, we could basically make an appeal to complexity and an appeal to taking a narrow view of what materialistic determinism means. But at the end of the day, it is that simple. Without any meta experience of our lives, we are simply biomechanical switches, and the only reason I talk about this at all is simply because you do need need to try and think of or contemplate how we can deal with that, or what kind of regions we can advance the conversation to help ourselves. Where does compassion or charity or support or love or any of these things, where do they truly originate from? Are they simply emergent properties that are all attributable again to, the vagaries of physics and biochemistry? I mean, again, like, it can seem like horrifically pretentious subject matter to talk about. I hear myself saying these things and I'm thinking, does this really anything you want anyone to hear you articulate publicly? But the more I think about it, well, frankly, yes, these are probably the most pressing issues anyone faces, or rather it touches on the most important things in their lives. So, yeah, there was probably other objections to my fairly narrow description of materialistic determinism as it applies to people's experience of their lives, but I suppose that was the main one that occurred to me. The appeal to complexity, the appeal to the mercurial nature of thought, that to describe it in such simplistic terms, or rather to give it a very simplistic dynamic of how it plays out. It does no service to the experience at all. Okay, but that's the materialistic deterministic view as far as I can see. Anyway, gone past the 7-minute mark here, so it's time to wrap it up and head home because it is cold. Really sorry you can't see the stars here because it's bloody amazing. Oh, look at this guy. Finds himself with a set of eyes and a brain to apprehend the skies above him and consider it to be wonderful. What a convenient arrangement of atoms to have that. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so not very well articulated, but I felt I wanted to talk about it a little bit. We've got some good wave lapping action going on here, and I personally cannot wait for longer evenings when there's something slightly more interesting than a little light flashing out on the horizon there to film and trying to be all deep and profound like this. And Elend is going up in the information card in the corner there because that is bloody beautiful music. Anyway, thanks for listening.